Actually, I reached out to you this morning too because I know we had kind of started talking the other day. And Dan.
Hi guys, welcome back to our lunchtime lives here weekly on Friday. So I'm gonna go before everybody else goes. So today I'm gonna talk about covenants and easements, something that nobody really understands and knows, especially in Frederick. It's kind of a big thing with all of the new buildings and things like that. So a covenant is kind of something that can be changed. It's used mainly in subdivisions, so kind of like an HOA type thing. So it's more strictly used as a subdivision, like I said, mainly specific standards in a subdivision. Thanks, Tim. For an example, this is not a subdivision example, so this is like a farm, and the farmer wants to keep it strictly for agricultural purposes. They can covenant their farm just to specifically state that. So whenever they sell their farm, that is going to go with the new buyer, so they're going to always have to keep it for agricultural purposes and things like that. So it'll keep going and keep going with the title and the deed and all that stuff of the land. So as a subdivision, so the HOA can kind of make specific structural things that they want to have, that every house is going to have, that they have to follow that rule, that they have to make sure their home has that they don't leave their trash cans sitting out, that they have certain siding, certain color doors and things like that, certain color garage doors, so they can make that a covenant for their subdivision. So design specifications and things like that. So easements are, there's many different types. An easement is the right to use the land of another for a specific or a particular purpose. So easement in apparent is the attachment of the ownership of real estate. This is kind of like a definition I'm going to give you guys, and then maybe I'll go into a little bit of a better understanding of it. So it's an attachment of ownership of real estate and allows the owner of that property to use the neighbor's land. So for example, two adjacent parcels of land, they must be owned by two different people. So that they must be two different parties that are using that to be considered that type of easement. So the parcel of land that benefits from the easement is known as a dominant tenement. So the person who, for example, I'm benefiting from their land, I'm going to be the dominant tenement. So the parcel of land that the easement runs through is known as the servient tenement. So if the dominant, sorry, there's a little party going on here. So the dominant tenement is conveyed. The other party of the easement will transfer with the title. So the title will go with the new buyer who is buying that land. The transfer will go with a title, like I just said. The transfer will last forever as well with the dominant tenement, unless the dominant one legally releases it, or the easement is terminated. There's a few ways, and I'll go over those in a little bit. Hi, Andy. I hope you're feeling better. So another easement is easement in gross. So this is more of an individual or a company, and the interest, where they use the interest of the land, or the right to use someone's land, I should say, I guess. So example is railroads. They have the right of way to use the utilities. So if you have a property and you have both sides and the railroad runs through, they have the right to go to use the utilities, the power, and things like that, or the pipelines, whatever they need to get to make sure the railroad is functioning. So commercial easement and gross may be assigned or conveyed or inherited. So the personal ones of the easement and gross is usually not assigned. It normally terminates when the owner passes. So that is not inheritable. So so for creating sorry, I have some notes going on here just so I make sure I hit everything. So creating an easement is written between the two parties. It establishes the easement right. So there's two other easements, so easement by necessity and easement by prescription. So easement by necessity is pretty much the easement that is created when an owner sells the parcel of land so that the owner sells a parcel of land so that there is no legal access to the street or a public way that the seller or that the buyer needs to get to that current property. So it's created by the court order. It has the right to enter and exit the land. So, for example, if there's two parcels of land and one, I have a picture. Maybe it'll better explain it. So I can't see it with all the comments, and I can't get them away. So here is a picture, and the picture kind of shows it. So you see the two different parcels of land. The house is here, the road is here. It needs to go through here to get to the house. So that is a necessity. You can't be landlocked. You have to be able to get to your property. So they have the right to enter and exit, and they cannot, like I said, be landlocked. It's not just for like merely being convenient. So there has to be no other way to get to the property. So easement by prescription is made use of others' land for a certain period of time. So it's defined in the state law. It normally lasts about 10 to 21 years. But it has to be continuous, non-exclusive, without the owner's permission. So the use must be visible and open, and it's notorious that the owner must be able to learn of it. So here's another. So the ways to terminate an easement are when there's no longer a need. So you don't need to get to that land. For some reason. The owner of the dominant or servant tenement becomes the sole owner, so that so the dominant either sold the land to one another, and the other party doesn't need to. So a release of the rights to the owner is another way. Abandonment of the easement and non-use of the prescription easement. So that's kind of a little bit more information. So not a lot of people know that if there is no way to get to house A, that there needs to be a driveway to get to the house. So there has to be a way. And a lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that until I actually had to learn about it. You can see my little highlighting notes that I had to do. So other than that, if you guys have any questions about that, I don't know if I kind of maybe said it in a good way. So if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll be happy to answer any questions or get an attorney appointed to you if you need that kind of help. So hopefully I will see you next Friday, and I think Dana or Christian or Chad will be up next in our live, so stay tuned for that.